In today's video, I'm going to decorate this water bottle from Officeworks to create this dog water bottle. Let's make this. So my inspiration for this project was, firstly, when we take Juniper to the beach and we want to stay and have like a barbecue, or we drive a little bit further and we go and get fish and chips or something, we've never got a drink bottle that's big enough to fill her water bottle enough times. She's a Labrador, so obviously she would drink a little bit more than a little Chihuahua, so our drink bottles aren't big enough. So I saw this one. It was on Officeworks when I was looking for some other things for to use for cricketing, and I saw this one and it was only $1. So I'm using that. That's my first part of the inspiration. And then the second part is just the way people decorate their drink bottles is really cute. So I thought I'd have another go at that. The materials for today's project are very minimal. I've got my standard grip mat, my scrap adhesive vinyl folder, and my drink bottle that I got from Officeworks for the big price of $1. It's a 2.45 litre bottle, and it's going to be perfect for this project. For today's project, we're going to use Design Space, and we're going to use a little bit of 1001 fonts. So to start off with, I'm just going to create shapes that represent the templates of the drink bottle. So the drink bottle's got 3 parts where I want to put some decals. So it's got 2 that are the same size, which I've got as 7 centimeters by 15. One part that's 7 centimeters by 15, and then there's 2 that are 4 by 15 centimeters. So I've just created those 2 to start with, and then I'm just going to change the color, just mainly for visual aspect. So the drink bottle is a bluey, purpley, greeny color. Obviously, you can't get those colors in Design Space. Then I'm going to go to 1001 fonts, and I'm looking for one that is a paw print. What I actually want is a paw, but I think this one here, which is called Kitty Paw Demo, if I hit download, I think it's really cool because I can use this as her name. So all I need to do is click download. I double click the zip file. If you are using a Windows computer, you'll have to extract that, and then double click on it once it's been extracted, and then I just need to install. So once I've installed it, you do need to go back into Cricut though, save your project, and I'm just going to save this one as Juniper's drink bottle or Juniper bottle or something like that. Anyway, whatever I want to save it as, and I'm going to save that. Then I need to go up to view, and in Design Space I'm going to go to view, and then I am going to go reload. Now the reason I need to do that is because now that we've downloaded a font, it doesn't recognize that font until it's reopened, because it's kind of like a reset of the program. So you do need to do that reload. So if you go to 1001 fonts, you install a font and you can't find it, just try that and try and do a reload. When I first started using my Cricut, I would actually close the whole program, reopen it, and then I watched one of these YouTube clips and I saw that all I had to do was a reload. So that made a huge difference. And now I'm going to put each of these letters separately. So I'm going to look for I've put a J to start with. I look for my font called Kitty. So I've clicked on that and it's come up with a Kitty Paw Demo. Now, then I'm just going to duplicate it and I'm going to put each of the letters in. And this is however you want this to look is up to you. But I'm going to have it kind of like a step. So one on the left, one on the right, a little bit lower, one on the left, a little bit lower, one on the right, a little bit lower. So it's kind of like a step, like a hopscotch kind of layout. So I've got to do all of the letters first, and I'm doing them all in capital letters. That P does look like it's a little letter, so I think I've had to redo it, but it turns out, no, the little P looks like a little, the big P looks like a little P. So it doesn't change. And then I'm just going to play around with where I want it to be. So to start off with, I'm just going to kind of freelance it. But then I decide there is a really cool feature where you can actually distribute your elements evenly. So if I select all of them, go up to a line and go distribute vertically, you can see that they all distribute themselves evenly. So that's a really good trick to remember if you're doing lines or if you're trying to do something that you want each of the components to be the same distance apart. But then, now that I've looked at it, I think the letters need to be bigger. So I'm really just going to play around with this and try and use that alignment and try and use the distribution of each of these letters to try and make it so that it's nice and even, but it looks sort of a bit haphazard at the same time. So I'm just going to speed that up and play around. There it is. So you can see that it's not perfectly in line, but it kind of fits a little bit. So I've played around with it. I'm happy with that. Now the next one that I want to do is some droplets of water. I'm going to do a droplets of water in one panel, and then I'm going to do kind of a bit of an oceany kind of feel in the other panel. So I'm just going to have a bit of a scroll and see if I can find some shapes that I like that have got a water or a beach theme to it. So I'm liking these palm trees and I'm liking the water droplets. So I'm going to have one side that has the water droplet. So I've made them quite large, and then I've done that alignment. So I've gone to a line, I've aligned it centered vertically, and then I've also distributed it vertically as well. So you can see that each of those droplets are evenly spaced and in line. Now with the palm trees and the water, what I'm going to do is actually I'll need it to be bigger because I want it to take up a fair amount of this design, but obviously it's too big. Once I make it bigger, it's too big for the panel. So if I select the palm trees and I select the panel, I can do a slice. So I've got both of them selected. I've clicked on slice, and now I can just get rid of everything apart from the palm trees. And then because of the panel being part of that slice, I just need to duplicate it. Just again, this is just visual because I'm going to add, I think, a sun up the top. So it's going to be like kind of like an islandy theme. So I'm just going to have another little scroll, see if I can find something else like a sun or something like that to add to this. There we go. So that sun can now just sit in the middle of all of that. I'm going to align it all. Ooh, wrong center. I'm going to, whoopsie. I'm going to align it centered horizontally. And then I can now get rid of each of those purple panels. I'm going to attach the droplets because the droplets are all going to be the same color. So I've just highlighted all of them, gone down to the bottom right and hit attach. I need to do the same thing with the word juniper as well, because otherwise they're going to cut all separately and then I'm going to have to place them. But because I've done all that work placing them in the right spots now, I may as well, and they're all going to be the same color of vinyl, I may as well attach them now. And then I've just changed the word juniper to black because then they're all going to be able to cut on the same mat because they're all small enough to fit on one mat. And then it's just a matter of finding the right vinyl from my scrap folder and then putting it all together. All of the vinyls that I've chosen can all be cut on the vinyl setting. Even though I've got a metallic sun, it's not a real heavy metallic vinyl. It's just it's the same thickness as all the other ones. I'm just going to use the vinyl setting for all of them. The production of this is pretty straightforward. I'm just going to place each of these components on the 3 flat sections of this drink bottle. So on the opposite side of the handle, there's a big component in the middle that's where I'm going to put Juniper's name. And then I'm going to just put the other 2 on each side. So I'm going to start with the name. And I've just gone through, and you can see smart vinyl again. So I'm trying to use up all my scraps. I think I've mentioned this before, but the smart vinyl, even though it cuts fine, it weeds fine, it's just that backing tape that's the backing that's the problem. But anyway, so I'm going to put some rubbing alcohol onto this bottle. It's to make sure that the vinyl sticks better, because we're getting rid of any of those greasy fingerprints or any of that kind of stuff. So all it is a matter of now placing each of my components down. The issue is with the light that I've got happening, I can't really see the edges all that well of each component or each section of this bottle. So I think I've got it in the middle here, but as long as I've got it straight, and none of the designs that I've got are really reliant hugely on making things straight. But don't you just love the paw prints? I just love them. Such a good font. So it's just a matter of scraping it down. I'm hoping that this is not considered to be a bit of a silicone kind of bottle where the vinyl doesn't stick. So this is kind of like an experiment at the same time. I'm hoping, no, it's all good. Confident now. So it's just a matter of now removing that transfer tape. Oop, a little bit of a paw came off, but that could happen on anything. So it's a great surface to be putting vinyl down on. Yeah. Oh, isn't that cute? Oh, what a cool name. Cool decal. Cool name, obviously, but great decal. And then it's just a matter of putting the other 2 on. So I'm just going to speed this up. There is a little bit of bubbling here on the pink one, which I don't think I would have been able to use the wet method here, because I don't think it would have stuck at all. So that's a little bit annoying. I'm just going to use the scraper. I might get a pin as well, because I've read that you can just use a pin and then pop some of these bubbles and then flatten them out, and then it's kind of like it was never there. But then when I put this sun down, how perfect is it? There's not a single problem. Weird. And I think they're both the same company. I think they're both HTV Ront vinyls. So I don't think that should be the problem. How cool. Look, for a drink bottle that's going down to the beach when we take Juniper for a run, I think this is perfect. We know whose bottle it is. It's very cute. It's very just like Juniper, really. Cute, bright, and funny. And doesn't she look happy with her water bottle? What a great final result. I do like it. It's cute. It's kitschy. It is what it is. But I think the use of a different font to show that was a dog's drink bottle is really cute. And also we've done a little bit of slicing. So there are a few little tricks and tips in there if you're a beginner. Otherwise, great project for using up your vinyl if you are a seasoned crafter. Well, I can't wait to see you next week for our next project. Thanks for watching. Please don't forget, you can always jump on my Instagram, head over to my Etsy store, or even check out the videos YouTube recommends for you down below.